from the Michigan Department of Transportation, Jackson Transportation Service Center Manager, Kelby Wallace. Kelby, welcome back.
Good afternoon, Bart. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Very
It's
good.
a beautiful day to be doing construction, isn't it?
We've had a good couple weeks.
Yeah.
We just need to continue that for another month or so and get everything tidied up before the winter season. It's fast approaching. Our maintenance garages are starting to dial in their snowplow equipment. I know nobody wants to hear that, but this is the time of year we start to make sure everything is running and ready for winter.
Well, we've got projects, major projects that are going on in the Jackson area. First, let's talk about I-94. So even though it's one highway and the projects are adjacent to one another, it is two separate projects. The main one that's been going on for like 5 years through the city in Blackman, and then the other one, which is going on now more recently, west 94 to Calhoun.
Correct.
So we've got updates on both of those projects, and today you brought some photos.
Yeah, so the major work right now is going on the project west of Jackson there towards Calhoun County, and this is kind of looking at westbound is on the right, and you can see we've made good progress and got almost the 2 lanes rebuilt, and we're working on that inside shoulder, and now we're going to be focusing on building that concrete median barrier wall out there. The goal of that project this year was to rebuild westbound. We're on track at this point to do that. So I kind of brought about 6 or 7 photos that kind of show you that process out there. So this is where we're now placing new dirt, sand really in there on the left in that inside shoulder. We bring in the sand and our loaders spread it out. Then our dozers bring more sand and push it around, get it kind of reasonably level there. And our excavators are working ahead, removing kind of that old bad clay, old material. And then we bring in gravel on top of that sand. Gravel is a mix of stone, a little bit of clay, a little bit of sand. It packs together better than sand, and that's what we put right beneath the asphalt. And then finally we bring in our big road graders here. You can see on the left of that machine we've got a GPS piece of equipment that actually gives an elevation of where it lifts that blade up and down.
Wow.
To make sure it's up at the right elevation.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so then they're bringing the graders there to grade out that gravel. And here's another shot of the back of the grader with the GPS unit on the side of that machine that's grading it and preparing it for the pavement that'll go down. We also put in drainage underneath there that I didn't have a picture of that kind of drains any water that seeps through the edges of the asphalt. But just kind of showing a little sequence of pictures that kind of show actually maybe why it's taken so long. We're doing that for about 8.5 miles. And here's a picture kind of that final gravel that's been packed down and ready for curb to be placed and asphalt to be placed out there.
Yeah, I can see how extensive the work is, and it's really a lot. And when you see the new asphalt, so there's new asphalt like in the right-hand side of the picture.
Correct, you got it.
So you've already done that. Now, will there be, so one of the things we've had like standing water in the median area before with heavy rains.
Right.
So
we are rebuilding that drainage,
Yeah.
putting in new pipes in that median and putting in what we call kind of curb that'll carry that water to those new drainage pipes. So that's kind of this final step here is working on that median drainage and then putting in that protective barrier between the 2 bounds of highway there. As we move kind of forward, this is an overhead view over at the Palmer Road interchange here. You're looking west. You can see where we've kind of got the roadway rebuilt on the right side and traffic is maintained on the eastbound roadway. One thing I like to say out there, we've really seen motorists really pick up speed now that we've moved into this final stage.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, they're driving really fast and our contractors are kind of stuck in the middle there. And, and I just like to tell folks again, drive like your family's working next to you out there to slow down and give those guys the safety they need. Here's kind of a neat picture of one of our steeper slopes. You can kind of see how we rebuild that slope on the outside of the roadway, put down some turf matting and some stakes and things to control the erosion until that grass grows in there real nice. So there's a lot of stages in these projects between the initial removal of the old pavement, remove the old clay, put in new sand, put in gravel, put in drains, put in curb, put in pavement, and still try to maintain, 2 lanes of traffic
Yeah.
as much as we can.
Well, that's what's amazing. You've got cars flying by at, in some cases, 90 miles an hour when you're working. That's got to be, I don't know how you do it. And news to me, the GPS. So how accurate, like, is it millimeters, inches?
Those are inside of, I believe they're inside tenths of inches, so less
Wow.
than inches. We've got stuff when we're doing a bridge where we get a little more precise measurements because we have to be a little more exact. But when we're out there with the gravel and the cement, we kind of have a little bit bigger tolerances.
So that arm up on that
Right.
grader, that's the GPS.
That's taking a signal, yep, to tie everything together. The machine actually has a digital model of the road that it should be building, and so between that and the GPS signal, that's what's coordinating it to make sure that it's grading that gravel to the right height.
So you got a flat road. No
Yes,
more.
flat,
You don't have to
smooth road.
eyeball it anymore.
Yeah, they used to use a lot of string,
String.
string line. A lot of smart tricks that those road builders have using strings and digital measuring instruments to make sure the old-fashioned 6-foot, 12-foot level.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we use, but now it's morphed where we're transitioning into that digital era.
Amazing. All right, let's talk about the first I-94 project, which included 127, Cooper, Elm, all of that. It looks like it's almost done, Kelby.
Yeah, you and I talking. So right now we have the last bit of paving on mainline I-94 scheduled to occur tomorrow on westbound I-94 over by Detman and Elm Road. So that's going to be wrapping up tomorrow, weather dependent. And we'll be starting the final pavement markings, putting traffic back into its original lanes over there and for the length of the project. I think some of those actually started on eastbound today to put traffic back in its final lanes. So we're wrapping this project up in Jackson area really quickly.
And it's going to be by the end of October that
Pretending at the end of October is a rough time frame where we're going to have everything substantially complete. Again, we'll have what we call a punch list of items that kind of little repairs, washouts, things that need to be fixed will still remain to be done either this winter or next spring, but really nothing that affects traffic, and all the pavement is done.
It's awesome. And I think we were talking before the show that there should be like a ribbon cutting, a big grand opening because when you look at the total cost of both I-94 projects, $250 million.
Correct.
Yeah.
I like to tell my staff, which they have been out there every day for the past, we've talked 5 years when what we call the Cooper Street project, when we rebuilt that interchange and bridge and dealt with the coal mines. That was late 2018 when we started that, and it's now 2023. That's 5 years, $250 million. My staff has done a stellar job getting that project out. The contractor's done a good job. And now we're really coming to that finish line, like you said, and we get to enjoy that nice, wide, safe roadway with the modern interchanges, lighting, all through Jackson.
Yeah, so I think that's the most spectacular part of the project is what you guys did at Cooper Street, because that was it was just such a pinch point. It looked like there was no solution, and you found it, and it looks spectacular. All right, so we've got the railroad bridges downtown.
Correct. Railroad bridges down. We've got the bridges are substantially complete. Now we're really working on those roads underneath. We're putting in some of the final drainage, some of the final signal work, signing work. We got to get curbs, and then we'll have those roadways all paved and open near the end of October at Mechanic, Jackson, Detroit, Van Buren, that have been closed for such a long time to those customers.
Those look great. It's amazing how much they've changed. And then the last thing, we've got the M50 127 out by Clavons.
Correct, kind of on the south end of Jackson. Yep, we had one last bridge repair to do last weekend that went very well, and now we've pretty much down to clean up on that project, a few touch-up things, and kind of getting the drums off the roadway. But that project is done in the field, and now we got to kind of clean up the paperwork.
Awesome, great job. Keep the workers safe, go slow in construction zones, and the lights at the end of the tunnel.
It is.
Thanks, Kelby.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Kelby Wallace, Jackson TSC manager with MDOT. Up next on JTV, I've got